So growing up, wrestling, big part of your upbringing. Like obviously you loved watching. You're old school WWF, kind of like
Oh,
me.
for
T-
sure, man.
When was your first introduction into wrestling? Watching. How old are you?
I was 7, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So you're
Yeah,
the same time. Do you remember? So see, in Canada, I don't know how it was in the US, but in Canada, the main events were once a month on a Saturday night.
yeah,
And it was
yeah, yeah.
late. I remember I'd fall asleep. My dad would wake me up at like 10, 11 at night on a Saturday. And that was when the big stars would actually, for it wouldn't be a secondary guy, it would be the big stars going at it. And that was a huge thing. And my dad would sit there and watch it with me. And that was probably the same thing. I was probably like 5, 6 years old when I started that.
Yeah, man. It was, it's funny because, I would all about the movies and then, and these larger than life guys. And then all of a sudden there were these real guys, the real
Yeah.
guys wearing superhero costumes, being crazy and good guys and bad guys. And it just all unfolded in front of you. And it was unbelievable. We used to go to the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, which consequently, or coincidentally, I should say, was where Macho Man made his WWF debut. And I might have been at that one. I was very young. I might have been at that 1% because we used to go whenever my mother could, save enough money for us to go. We would go because they came there all the time.
Yeah.
Well, not all the time, but enough, a couple times a year, and we would go there. And I remember actually met Macho Man one time in the diner. This was probably in the early '90s. It was Macho Man and Vince McMahon. It was before he went to WCW. They came in the diner. I didn't go to the show. They must have been at the Civic Center. I was a little older. We were in a band. I think we had got done with a gig, and we were at the diner. That was the spot. You go to the Duchess Diner, and have your coffee and your pancakes. The late night spot. And then there, I go to the bathroom, and out comes Macho Man and Vince McMahon, like what's happening right now? And they're like in the diner. It couldn't have been cooler. And Macho Man was still just Macho Man. Vince McMahon was very nice. They didn't give us a lot of time, but it was just like, oh yeah, brother, oh, nice to meet you, And so I got to meet him, which was really cool. But yeah, I used to, every weekend, I can't tell you how many beds I broke to the floor by, jumping down or flipping over. I used to, grab blankets and do the Ultimate Warrior. And I used to, it's so funny. It was Macho Man, and then later Ultimate Warrior. I just had this affinity for Nikolai Volkov. Was something about him, and obviously the Iron Sheik.
Iron Sheik was a big character, man. That guy, just incredible character.
So awesome. But I used to try to make Russian applesauce. I remember I used to take the apple and it's Russian applesauce, let's just squeeze it, and I take both hands and make Russian applesauce. It was so, and then I'd flip my bed over. That's what you did. Just these larger than life guys that were so influential on me. Not an attitude and not anything, but maybe not an influence to what I wanted to do, but just watching and enjoying.
Of course. I think we all, I think majority of gentlemen in our age bracket all had their moments watching the WWF. And those characters and the Ultimate Warrior and just even like Roddy Piper. The characters were so fascinating, right? At that age.
Piper. Talk about
when you heard of the opportunity to play Macho Man, how did that come about, and how did the audition go? And give me a little understanding of that.
Oh man, it's a funny story actually. So more history. My brother is my agent, my talent agent.
Oh, he is.
Oh yeah. So we keep it in the family. It's great.
Does he work with other artists as well, or just you?
Oh yeah. So he runs the theatrical department in Stewart Talent. They're in New York. They're actually, I think they're Atlanta, LA, and New York, but the main hub is in New York, and he's there. He was out here for a long time, but he's there. I'm getting into the whole story of how that all came about, how he became my agent, but we've been working together for decades.
Yeah.
So I get this call, and it's a love-hate-love relationship, right? I love my brother. Sometimes I hate my agent, and I love my brother. It's like that's how it is, and he feels the same too. There's so many times, I said, if you weren't my brother, I would fire you. He was like, if you weren't my brother, I would drop you. We're like, it's like, but then we love each other. So it's a love-hate-love relationship, with hate being the smallest part of it. But anyway, I digress. So I get this text from him, and this also another story around that too. But I get this text from him saying, "I need a picture of you dressed as the Macho Man ASAP."
Yeah.
So to give a little history on that, I've been the Macho Man for Halloween 3-4 times, 3-4
Yeah.
different years. Make my own costumes. Macho Man's my favorite guy, and what a good costume that is for Halloween. I mean, one year one year I made this real elaborate one, and I got all these Slim Jims, and we went to West Hollywood in LA, and they do the biggest parade and thing, and I'm like, "Stop it, Slim," and I'm like throwing Slim Jims at people. Right? It was just amazing. Anyway, so he's my brother. He knew that I was Macho Man for Halloween, so I send him a picture, and then he gets back to me, and he was like, all right, here's this audition, you have to put it on tape. So I get it, and it's very cryptic. It says Young Rock, but all the names are changed except for Macho Man. And it's so funny. They always give a description of what they, in an audition, male, 35 to 45, 6 feet tall, this, brooding soul, but a happy guy. They have like a weird description of for any role that you do, they have to describe it so you can kind of make up a character. So they're like describing the Macho Man. Then they put a link to, I think it was the link was Macho Man proposing to Elizabeth was like the link that they sent. And they're like, "We're not looking for a caricature, but this is the guy." And I'm like, "Why are you sending me information on Macho Man? Doesn't everybody know who Macho Man is? Why would you?" But okay. So I bust out my old costume, and I have to put it on tape. And I just wear pieces of it. One scene I'm naked, so I don't wear a shirt. One scene I'm just at a barbecue. So my mother lives in New York. She keeps a box of clothes here. In the attic. So I go in the attic, and I know my mom has something funky that would be Macho Man-y. So I find this pink tank top that's my mom's. So I squeeze into this pink tank top for one, and I do this 5 scenes, and I do the audition, and I try not to put too much stock into it, right? Because for whatever reason, I didn't think in a million years I would get it. So I just wanted to have fun with it. And I had to find, I didn't want to just, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do it." Like I didn't want to do it, like everybody's going to do this. Yeah. Like I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try to find who's the Macho Man when he's not doing a promo or in the ring. So, I kept the voice, but I just made it very conversational. And I added a couple of whatever, and I did all the scenes. And then at the very last scene, I'm in full Macho Man, like the whole thing. But I do the scene straight, and then I look right at the camera, and I'm like, "Stop it, Slim Jim!" I just like broke character from the audition, and I just cracked myself up, and then I let it be, and I just sent it like that. I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to get it anyway, so might as well have had fun." Anyway, then I get a call from my brother. He says, "They really like you. It shoots in Australia. You're going to be gone for like 3 months. Are you good?" I was like, "Wait, I really got what's happening?" He's like, "Macho Man." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So like now all of a sudden I'm like, and then he calls me back again. He was like, "You're in the final running. They're just waiting for The Rock to watch it, to approve it. Everybody else has approved it." And I'm like, so I usually use a Vimeo link to put it, and you can see, when it gets viewed. For the most part, unless if they download it and take it off. But so it's like at like 8 views, right? So it's been watched 8 times. And every day, it's like Wednesday, I'm watching it. Thursday, I'm watching it. Friday, I'm watching it. Nothing. Friday at 9 a.m., nothing. 12 p.m., nothing. 12:15, it goes from 8 to 9 views. And I'm like, The Rock just watched my tape. And then like a half hour later, the phone rings. And I got the gig, and I'm like, are you kidding me? "Ooh, yeah, we're freaking out. And we got the gig. But the moral of the story is, with my love-hate love relationship with my brother that I love dearly, it's very endearing. But if I was even with, like a different agent or a bigger agent, a CA or whoever, they wouldn't have known that I was Macho Man for Halloween. And so I talked to my brother later, and he said, when I submitted you, my picture is pretty clean cut, the IMDb, that whole thing. They passed. They didn't even want to see your tape because they didn't see it. They didn't see you being Macho Man. He was like, "But I knew you were perfect for it. That's why I asked you for that picture." Yeah. I sent them the picture. They're like, "Oh, okay, I can see it because clearly here I am as the Macho Man, Randy Savage." So they saw me, and I booked the gig. But had it just been like, "Oh, okay, pass," we're not, like, oh, on to the next one, on to the next audition. I would never got it. So it's like, did all those years, me and my brother, like, just led up to that moment, that career.
So you guys are shooting season 2 now? Or have you started yet?
Yeah, in October we start.
Hey, you got to pull this out because I saved this on here from last time.
This guy. High five, Macho Man.
give me like a little line, a Macho Man line, and we'll end the Macho Man part from there. But give me a little line on Macho Man.
Oh boy, I can't. On the tower of power, too sweet to be sour, funky like a monkey, space the place and sky's the limit. Ooh yeah.